is seeking $100 million from the former athlete after investing $40 million in Armstrong's U.S. Postal Service cycling team, which the government says it would not have done if it knew that Armstrong was a cheat. Here to discuss Lance's options and future prospects is Mike Bako, sports editor for the DailyNational.com. You know, it's interesting like that they say they wouldn't have done this if they knew Lance Armstrong was a cheat. I have to say, there's all sorts of words, rumors out there that they knew because everybody knew.
Everyone knew. You just read, if you're a big fan of reading the French newspapers, Le Monde was going after him from the very get-go. They're very provincial about their cycling there, but there were reports, very strong reports, as far back as 1999 that had good evidence that he was doping and doing things in an illicit manner. So if the U.S. Postal Service didn't read that, they kind of turned a blind eye to it.
Yeah, they were shocked.
Yes.
Shocked, they say, and I imagine that's going to be part of the defense, right? That cycling is not as clean as we thought it was. Okay, so what has Lance Armstrong's life been like since he was stripped of these titles and he said that he had doped?
Yeah, very much a life of isolation. Sponsors dropping him, really no discernible means of earning any sort of living. He had a vast fortune. He had a dream life in Austin. He built this dream house, a compound, private jets, was flying around. He would jog and go on bike rides with Matthew McConaughey and Jake Gyllenhaal. Those two are nowhere to be found. He's really nowhere to be found. He's living this life of isolation right now, just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
And the other shoe are these lawsuits. There are lawsuits from the government. There's probably lawsuits that are going to come from sponsors.
And the sponsors, yes.
And what risk have you discerned from reading all the coverage and speaking with people that he could, in fact, be bankrupted from this?
This is a very tough hill for him to climb. He was known as a great hill climber, mountain climber for the Tour de France, but this might be one that he's not going to be able to overcome.
He's not going to be able to dope before he goes to court.
He's not going to be able to dope before he goes to court, and he may be in a situation where a judge may rule just before the trial even happens on the basis of overwhelming evidence.
Well, that is a legal test. For example, if there is no discernible facts to argue here, he may lose rather rapidly, and then it just comes down to what the damages might be. And the damages are probably, I could see everything he's really been earning.
Absolutely. What he's been earning, which hasn't been much in the last few years, but everything that he's probably socked away from sponsorships, from personal appearances, and all the money that he was able to bank. But he's also lived a pretty lavish lifestyle, and he probably lived a lifestyle thinking that this would go on for decades and decades, and that he would be this revered figure, and he would have been if all these allegations didn't come out.
And not only the U.S. Postal Service knowing what they know, but also the sponsors have, because they read the same material. And again, I wonder what their culpability is. For anybody who bought a Lance Armstrong jersey, for example, I think it's a stretch for them to sue these companies. But I'm not entirely sure that these companies should get back their money, honestly.
I don't know if they should get their money back. And I think just in terms of culpability, they wanted to believe the U.S. Postal Service, for as much damage as was done on the back end, they got a lot of good publicity during that run, during all of those
titles. Now they have all this bad publicity.
And now they have all this bad publicity.
Finally, can Lance Armstrong do anything to rehabilitate his image?
It's tough because he went so many years denying and going after the people that accused him, going after his friends, turning on people. He soured so many people to everything that he was doing over the course of a decade. So it's tough for him to turn back around. Even though he's a great story, a cancer survivor, still reaches out, helps cancer survivors.
But he's been fired from his own foundation.
He's been fired from his own foundation. He's just done too much damage. There's too much collateral damage.
And there's certainly a lot of people who are happy to see him get his comeuppance. So that's what it happens.
I think so.
Okay, Mike Bako, thank you.
Thank you.
Ahead, a casting call gone terribly wrong makes one casting director